Welcome to Coworking Insights Podcast.
Coworking Insights. We're going to get you data in little bites.
Everyone, welcome back to the Coworking Insights podcast. I'm sitting here with Chuck Glass at Bay 3 in Tampa. Chuck, it's great to have you on the show.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me, man.
I'll tell you, I just want to start the podcast by giving you guys a pat on the back because you've done a super fantastic job here, not just with Bay 3, but also with Armature Works. And it's bringing a lot of people to this area of Tampa, and you guys are kind of a cornerstone in that, so awesome job.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It's only getting bigger, man. It's only getting bigger.
It's crazy what's happening here. So on this episode, we're going to talk about kind of global space configurations. It's supply data that we've been able to pull from co-working spaces. So we've analyzed 11,000 co-working spaces across the world. And I thought it was really interesting to figure out, on average, how spaces are configured. And then, of course, we're going to compare that to what you guys have done here at Bay 3. So I'll just start the episode with giving that data bit. And I think I shared with you already, Chuck. Do you have any idea on average how many desks or say seats a typical co-working space has?
I think when we talked about it, you said they had about 50 or so.
That's right.
And Bay 3 more than doubles that. So we have a lot of room for everybody.
You're right. So on average, 48 desks. This is global data. 48 desks per co-working space. Private offices, 12.9, and meeting rooms 2.7. And when we pulled that data, I was thinking that sounds right, but to me, I would think that's a lot of private offices, 12.9 on average. I would think the average would be, based on my experience fitting co-working spaces, maybe more around 7 or 8. But then again, Bay 3 is much larger. So you guys have 102 desk seats in Bay 3 of 29 private offices and 5 meeting rooms.
Yeah, we are expansive. About 11,000 square feet of total space in Bay 3.
So I'm curious to know, when you guys were setting up and getting ready to build out Bay 3, how you determined the configuration and if that configuration has evolved since you moved in.
Yeah, the configuration has definitely evolved. We've added things. We've taken things out that were here. When they first built the place, our owners, Chaz and Taryn Bruck, they pretty much designed it from the ground up. This is a refurbished building that was built in the last century, and it used to be the Tico streetcar barn here in Tampa, and they refurbished it and built this second level on top, which is now Bay 3. And it's definitely a labor of love, and it's an amazing spot.
Now, when you guys originally conceptualized Bay 3, how did someone come in and say, this is how many desks you should have, this is how many offices you should have, or how did that all come together?
That's when I talked to Taryn about it. It was more of a kind of there was some intelligent design behind it, but this is the first time they've ever done it. So it's kind of we're going to figure it out as we go. It's a big learning curve. We'll grow with the amount of people that want to be here, and we'll figure it out together. So it's kind of a close-knit family now, and we just kind of grow with everybody. So
it was really interesting how you guys evolved, because I think when we came in, there was we must have been first 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, you guys were early.
And part of that, I believe, is co-working is relatively young and undeveloped in Tampa. And so when this was built, I think a lot of people had to start to understand what co-working was, whereas when we came here, we already, of course, knew what co-working was, and we're very excited about you guys opening.
Right.
But how did you go about getting people in the door initially?
The funny thing is people, and I still get this to this day, and we've been open for almost a year, is I had no idea you were here. And I was like, well, we're kind of a hidden gem. We do a variety of things. My goal, I took over in June of last year, and we had 20 people total. Now we're almost at about 230 people, and my biggest tool is word of mouth. We try to make everyone feel like family and feel like they matter here and their opinion matters, and everything is for them, and that's kind of blown up. We have people coming in that are referred by current members, and that's our biggest thing.
I thought one of the best things you guys did was that one of the early social events you had where you actually had the mayor of Tampa come through.
For our official ribbon cutting, we had the mayor, and we had about 200 plus people here. It was insane.
And I hear this more and more from spaces all around the world that one of their best marketing utilities is to actually host events and have people bring in friends so they can actually understand what co-working is, see the network, and in this case, get to meet some really influential people in Tampa.
And that's some of the best things that we have here at Armature Works is that we not only are the co-work, we're also a food hall, an event space, a place to have concerts. It's kind of an all-in-one event place in Tampa, and we're just, located in a prime spot on Riverwalk, and it's just an amazing spot. You have to come see it.
So back to the configuration of how you guys are set up. I'm curious to know how this all evolved for you in terms of demand. So obviously, lots of seats, lots of space. What were the first people that were coming in the door? Where did you start filling up first and maybe running short on supply and inventory?
Offices. It's always offices. I wish you could build more, but we're a historical building. You can only go so far. Even with almost double the average, we need more.
Wow.
But offices filled up first.
And the way you guys have done your offices is I would say it's rather unique. I think it's perfect, and it's obviously fitting a niche and filling up. But your offices are more suited for really kind of 1 to 2 person teams versus, I know you have some for large teams, but maybe you could share a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have a lot of 1 to 2 person offices. We gear more towards your entrepreneur that's really just getting off the ground, someone who needs a space, needs somewhere to be creative, but doesn't want to spend the enormous amount of capital that it takes to have a big office. Some people don't need it. They just need a desk, and they just need somewhere to work that's quiet. And we have a lot of that space. We also have those big offices that you said that can accommodate up to, our largest one can accommodate up to 9 people, and it's 450 square feet.
Mm-hmm. So you say right now you're at capacity in terms of office space.
Absolutely. We have a wait list that's about 40 people deep.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then where would you say, how about your meeting room configuration? Do you find these are busy, or you have a little bit extra bandwidth with these?
They're busy. It just depends on the day of the week. Typical Monday through Fridays, you're going to be pretty busy. Mm-hmm. We have some wiggle room in between. We try not to book them back to back. We try to give people setup time, breakdown time, things like that. But we're constantly humming.
Do you guys have a capacity limit that you would stop selling open community memberships or hot desk memberships?
Since we're so new, we're kind of feeling that out right now. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we're over 200 members now. And to me, I never want the space to feel full.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to feel like they're fighting for a seat. It's too crowded. They can't get their work done because that, inhibits creative flow. So we're kind of doing that as a feel. We haven't hit that mark yet, I feel, because we have so many extra seats. But we will get there eventually.
What's the busiest time of the week for you guys in terms of people being in the center?
It depends on what's going on at Armature, to be honest with you. Monday through Wednesday is always busy for your coworkers and things. Offices, everyone does their own thing. They're here on the weekends, nights, anytime. And then when it comes to like tours and people coming through to see the space, it all depends on the events at Armature.
I really enjoyed coming in this weekend and being here, and I almost see there being a demand globally for just a weekend pass where people want to get out of maybe their current workspace, have a little bit of a creative environment, and it's also really nice on the weekends because you have the place almost to yourself.
It's really quiet here on the weekends, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's busy downstairs, but upstairs it's like just peaceful and serene.
Yeah. Well, just want to recap just again the kind of global supply averages for everyone out there. So on average, spaces around the world have 48 desks, 12.9 private offices, 2.7 meeting rooms, and then just in comparison here, Bay 3, 102 seats/desks, 29 private offices, 5 meeting rooms. So larger by about 2x on the whole. I think you guys have done a really good job with the space. I think it's a really important part of the startup and entrepreneurial scene in Tampa now. And I hope you guys continue to expand and recruit more members because I think this is a really good thing for Tampa.
Hey, me too. I love Tampa. Tampa's my home. I was born and raised here, and this is only going to make Tampa better. It's going to make it great for people who want to come here. It's going to make it for current residents. It's just going to be an amazing project, especially over the next 5 years here in the Heights area.
When's Mayor Buckhorn coming back? We got to get him on the podcast.
Well, I had an open bar that day, so that's probably what'll probably bring him back. So we'll have to see.
Fair enough. For everyone out there, stay tuned to next week's episode for more data bites on the global co-working industry. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to the Coworking Insights podcast. Stay tuned for our next episode and more.